Hello and welcome to the Pitt Show. It is me, Matt Grubba, your Pitt writer here at DKPittsburghSports.com, and I have the privilege of having the boss man in here with us, the man DK himself.
Oh, please.
So have someone to chat with and have plenty to chat about right now.
Yeah, no kidding, huh?
Yeah, well, just when I thought I was out of the woods with coaching searches, here we go again. But before we get to that, let's also thank our sponsors, Bazzi, Vreeland & Associates, the exclusive sponsor for coverage of Pitt athletics here at DKPittsburghSports.com and DK Radio. With several Pitt alums, homegrown Pittsburgh attorneys, and deep roots in the communities of southwestern Pennsylvania, the attorneys at Bazzi, Vreeland & Associates are proud to bring quality coverage of Pitt athletics from the top independent sports website in Pittsburgh, DKPittsburghSports.com. And so, DK, your reaction when you heard the news that broke on Thursday that Suzie McConnell-Serio is out as the women's basketball coach at Pitt just a week after the school has a new men's basketball coach.
It's jarring, and mostly because of the name that Suzie has in our community. It's not just for her coaching, it's for her playing. You can make an argument that Suzie McConnell-Serio is the greatest women's athlete that we've ever had in our region, and there are arguments that can be made for a couple of others, but not many. Mm-hmm. So when it's the name, that's the first thing that jumps out, that Heather Lyke had the brass, if you will, to say, listen, I'm about the results, not about the name. And to make the change that she did, that's the first thing that came to mind. Mm-hmm. The second one, and I don't mean to digress and make this the Pitt/Duquesne show, but Suzie had success at Duquesne, and then when she left, Dan Burt, her assistant, had greater success at Duquesne. You know where I'm going with this. I wonder to what percentage we can attribute the success that the Dukes have had, making the NCAAs last year. They were still competitive this past year, to Dan Burt and not to Suzie. And I don't mean to sound disrespectful here, but, that you asked.
Right, right, and that's very true. I mean, Dan Burt's been able to keep Duquesne very competitive, very successful.
Historically
more so.
Than they have ever. Yeah.
But the trouble with that, I mean, I agree that, yes, she didn't have the same success as she did at Duquesne, but she also, previous to that, she's a WNBA Coach of the Year with the Lynx up in Minnesota. She won state championships at the high school level, which is where she's known.
Her credentials are impeccable, and I'm not questioning the credentials.
And when they hired her, she looked like a slam dunk hire.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was seen as this big coup. They went right down the road and took away Duquesne's coach and everything else, but ultimately the results didn't come. And I don't know how patient Heather Lyke was going to be, given that, Heather Lyke herself is new on the job, and that Suzie hadn't been at Pitt that long. However, man, you got to get the results. And when you didn't see any progress with Pitt in the ACC, You need to see leaps and bounds in recruiting in women's basketball. For those who don't know, it has to be a thing where she had to be an immediate draw. And once Pitt, the administration, and particularly Heather Lyke, could see that that level of recruits, what you need to compete with the big teams, weren't coming to Pitt, you can make that decision just based on that.
Yeah, and to talk about the results. Her second year here, Suzie takes the team second round of the NCAA tournament. Things looked up. But, you always draw the comparison between a coach and the person they replaced and how they did. Well, Agnes Baronato, who was there before Suzie McConnell, took Pitt to back-to-back Sweet 16s. Now, Agnes's time...
At one point, yeah.
And Agnes's time went south very quickly at the
Yes,
end.
it did.
3 straight years without a postseason appearance, the last 2 of which they didn't win a single conference game in the old Big East. And that was what brought her tenure to an end. But making that comparison to Suzie, second-round appearance in 2015, but then 2016, 2017, 2018, 3 straight years, no postseason at all, not even a WNIT.
Let me throw this past you, Matt. Because one of the things that I wonder, again, I keep bringing up Duquesne here, but that's because there's a direct relationship here. Right. I wonder how many people in the administration, again, specifically Heather Lyke in the athletic department, said, well, hang on a second here. We brought her over here from Duquesne And now this program has gotten to the point where it's a significant step below Duquesne's.
Yeah.
And we're now well past the stage where we can say, well, that's because Suzie built up the other one. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right, yes.
So that's all part of it. Look, bottom line for me is it would be fun. And this is nothing that I haven't said to both Suzie and to Dan Burt. It would be fun for our city to have not one, not two, but three really good women's basketball teams. And I have to throw in Robert Morris because they also made NCAAs.
Yeah, they've been perennially the top team in the NEC in recent years.
That program's gotten really strong over there, even though they had a changeover at coach last year. Now you have a chance here to build up something where all three of them are strong. All three of them can result in the improvement, the quality of girls basketball in the region because they have teams that they can watch closer to home and see on a regular basis. That's a win-win-win, if you will.
And this area has been strong for girls basketball. I mean, they produced
for a
players
long time.
For a long time.
Yep.
I mean, I just think recently we just watched Notre Dame win the national championship this past week, and I think Madison Cable was a Mount Lebanon girl, went to
Yep.
Notre Dame. I mean, you can just go down the list. I'm not going to sit here and name names. Just the last word I want to get in before we jump to a different topic is, so far Heather Lyke has shown she's not playing around with coaching hires, and we go. The two that jump out are Randy Waldrum at the women's soccer program, a former national championship winner at Notre Dame, and then obviously Jeff Capel last week for the men's basketball program. Now here with women's basketball, you have a program.
Wrestling too.
Yeah, that's true. But you have a program now that profile-wise is below men's basketball, but a step above women's soccer. So this is going to be another pretty big hire, and she's shown that whether it's a top program like men's hoops, whether it's a middling, not a big revenue producer like women's soccer, either way, Heather Lyke has shown she is not afraid to go after top-name talent.
No, and at the same time, the other part of it that I like is I didn't mean the pun. The other part of it that I appreciate, avoiding the pun, is that she's also clearly demonstrated with the most important athletic coaching position that she's not just going to take a across-the-board look at everything and say, I need my own people. Because she could have looked at Pat Narduzzi and said, well, he's, the defense has struggled on football for a couple of years now. He's supposed to be a defensive guy. He said, I am the new athletic director, and I deserve the right to go and get my own guy. And she didn't. She sat down with Narduzzi and hammered out a long-term extension because she, and rightly in my opinion, believes in Coach Narduzzi. Now, that doesn't mean that she won't egg him on in some form or other to make maybe the occasional replacement to the staff.
And he's still under the microscope. It's not like the extension means,
right.
he's a permanent fixture.
Well, that's the other part that now gets shown. Because by firing Kevin Stallings and paying him $1 bazillion to go away, that's obviously not something you want to do on a regular basis for all kinds of reasons.
Right.
But she did make that move because it was the right move, even though it really sets back, I'm sure, an awful lot of financial priorities for the university.
Sure. So that leaves a lot of questions going forward in terms of a coach and how Heather Lyke's going to go into yet another coach search so soon after the last one. But, you brought up football, too. We'll have to hit that in just a moment here on the Pitt Show, brought to you by Bazzi Vreeland and Associates.
Injured in an accident? Need assistance in preserving your business's interests? Let the attorneys at Bassi, Vreeland & Associates protect your legal rights. For over 65 years, Bassi, Vreeland & Associates has been representing the citizens and businesses of southwestern Pennsylvania. With offices strategically located in Washington and Charleroi, Bassi, Vreeland & Associates can deliver results for you throughout the Pittsburgh area. Visit www.bmvlaw.com or call 724-228-7000 to see how Bassi, Vreeland & Associates can meet your legal needs. Bassi, Vreeland & Associates. We fight, we care, we win.
Miller Lite is the original light beer, and we'll always brew it to have more taste, with only 96 calories and 3.2 carbs. Because we believe that if you compromise on taste, you can taste the compromise. Miller Lite. Hold true.
Great beer, great responsibility. 2018 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Average analysis, 12 fluid ounces. Less than 1 gram protein, 0 grams fat.
If you're one of the thousands of Western Pennsylvanians who love to get outdoors, then you need to check out this cool new website, stepoutside.org. Learn where, when, and how you can go camping, hiking, or hunting, or take part in power sports, shooting sports, or water sports in your local community or across the country at stepoutside.org, where everything you need to know is just a click away. That's stepoutside.org.
What I want from my public accounting firm is big ideas.
But I don't want to lose the personal attention.
My company needs global capabilities.
From a firm with local ownership.
And I want to work with industry experts.
Who take the time to understand my unique challenges. And that's what sets Schneider Downs apart. Expertise for the most complex business issues. With the service you need every day. To learn how our big thinking with a personal focus can help your company, visit schneiderdowns.com.
Injured in an accident? Need assistance in preserving your business's interests? Let the attorneys at Bassey, Vreeland & Associates protect your legal rights. For over 65 years, Bassey, Vreeland & Associates has been representing the citizens and businesses of southwestern Pennsylvania. With offices strategically located in Washington and Charleroi, Bassey, Vreeland & Associates can deliver results for you throughout the Pittsburgh area. Visit www.bmvlaw.com or call 724-228-7000 to see how Bassey, Vreeland & Associates can meet your legal needs. Bassey, Vreeland & Associates. We fight, we care, we win.
Welcome back to the Pitt Show. I am Matt Grubba, your Pitt beat writer here at DKPittsburghSports.com, alongside DK himself. Dejan, want to talk about Pitt football now, and it's been a whirlwind come and gone. There's only 1 week left after Saturday of spring football, so it's you haven't been able to make it down just with all the Penguins' excitement getting ready for playoffs.
No, spring football it does not make it high on the list this time of year.
But it's been interesting to watch how things have developed there with very few position changes or shakeups. Really, it's a matter of testing what they have at each position and seeing how these depth charts are going to work out. Some places,
well, I'm sure that what every Pitt fan wants to know out of spring football, above and beyond anything else, is how Kenny Pickett looks. And I understand these are controlled environments, and you can't necessarily say, oh, well, he's just been awesome. His reads have been great. Well, of course they are. I mean, it's all a set play and set drills. But there are also intangibles involved, especially at the college level for a quarterback. He's not a plug-and-play type. That's not really Pickett's personality. He's going to want to be the one who takes charge. He's got that authoritative, I think, personality about him. He's also got a really good receiver group. So what's going to happen for Pitt football, I think, to rise up, if you will, and maybe rise above expectations, is that offense is going to have to become a passing offense on a consistent basis that can put up a lot of points, because as we've seen, the defense is going to give up a lot of points. And until Pat Narduzzi figures that part of it out, and yeah, I'm pinning that part on him, it's going to be on Kenny Pickett's shoulders. And what have you seen from him, not just in terms of, we know he can throw football, but what have you seen from him in terms of, the leadership standpoint, from the keeping his chin up, taking charge?
Yeah, well, it's funny, that is the part that he's really scored the highest marks this spring on, and not talking about what the coaches are coming to say. It's his teammates that are coming and really saying, hey, this guy, really has control of the huddle, of the playbook, of, it's his offense is what they're saying. I mean, Darren Hall's a senior running back. He's a guy that you would think, oh, this is going to be a leader. But even he said, he's more of a soft-spoken kind of guy. And he says, that's Kenny's huddle. I mean, it's his offense. And, the arm, the moving around, the physical aspect of it, that's going to come. He is only a sophomore, a true sophomore, no redshirt year with him. So he's still got time to develop.
Hang on a second. You sound like you're seeing something you don't like there.
Well, I'm saying it in the sense that, there are issues, and he's still got to work on his arm strength, hitting those, outside tight patterns. I mean, everybody remembers the win over Miami. A lot of the damage he did there, he showed some real grit and toughness, running the ball, keeping plays alive with his legs. He was in a very controlled offensive setting right there. The playbook was pared down a little bit. Now he's going to have full reign of this offense, and they're going to want him to be able to throw those 10, 15-yard out routes, those sorts of patterns that, he hasn't really shown. And he's working very hard on those types of things.
The part that I appreciate maybe the most about where Pickett is right now is that he had that Miami game. There's no amount of drills and practices and classroom settings and motivational pep talks and video sessions that can come close to replacing that one experience. He went out there and, I'm going to use this term again, took charge on a literal national stage and got the attention of the entire country, not just for the program but also for himself, by pulling off what he did. Not that it was done single-handedly, but he played a really big role in it. I can't even imagine the intangibles that are involved in that.
Yeah, and that's, everybody saw that. I mean, that was the day after Thanksgiving. People were home from school, a lot of people off work. Everybody.
Hey, you had a chance to watch the number 2 team in the country, and then they're down, and now all of a sudden people are texting their buddies who have nothing to do with Pitt or Miami and saying, hey, turn this on. It looks like Miami's going to lose.
Yeah, people were tuning in for the turnover chain, the sideline antics.
Oh, the chain. I forgot about that chain.
And to see where Miami's going to get seeded against Alabama, Georgia, or whoever else.
There were guys across the NFL tweeting about that and about the turnover chain and everything. Some Steelers were. Yeah, the chain.
But Kenny Pickett has the offense is his. The number 2 quarterback, Ricky Towns, the junior college transfer in there. He's going to be a capable backup, but he is so far behind in terms of learning the offense. It's his first camp in there. So there's no quarterback controversy. It's, for better or worse, Pickett's team. And so far in spring, he's showing all the right things, pushing all the right buttons. But again, he's still wearing the red jersey. He's not getting touched. It's a very controlled environment. Pat Narduzzi said, and I think this is telling, Saturday's session coming up is going to be closed to the media the week before the spring game, but that's going to be the real situation where it's 1 versus 1s. The spring game, the guys are going to be broken up, some starters on one side, some on the other. The best test is one that we're really not going to get to see this weekend, and I'd be curious. I wish I could be a fly on the wall or, in the stands at Heinz Field. So that's, I guess, going to wrap it up for us there. So thanks for joining me.
That's the Pitt Show.
That's the Pitt Show.
More coaching searches.
Yes, more coaching searches. We'll see if, what kind of big-name hire Heather Lake's got in store for us here, because she's certainly developing a track record.
Did I mention Dan Burt yet? Did I not do that? Oh, yeah, I did mention Dan Burt. Yeah, so they can go right down the road and try it all over again.
Oh, he's lobbying already. Hey, if you're going to do that, I'll throw out a name for Jackie Hulla at Carnegie Mellon's, taking them to a few Sweet 16s and has experience at Arizona State. So she's got major conference chops too.
There you go.
But hey, thanks for listening to the Pitt Show, brought to you by Bazzi Vreeland and Associates, our friends and sponsors on this. I'm Matt Grubba, saying thanks for listening to DK Sports Radio.